Schmitty's Kettle Corn here, and I'm watching this video here of when my first equipment arrived from kettlecornmachine.com, and it's made by Greg Sweet, and the family now runs it, and the owner now is Destiny Sweet. And I just wanted to talk to you about what I ordered in my equipment, and pretty much how I got started, and some of the things I've learned that I'd change over time, and things that I've kept. And the first thing that I did, you guys, when I got this equipment and ordered, I knew what to order because I used to work for another kettle corn company, and then there are a lot of things that I didn't know, and I knew that, of course, things were going to be according to county and state. So the first thing I did after I did this and ordered this equipment, which is all in my apartment, by the way, and it took up a lot of room. This is before I got my trailer, and so this is for the very first time I got my business started in 2018. Is that I called my local health department, and calling my local health department, they answered all of my questions. For example, one of the questions I wanted to find out was whether or not I needed to have a sink or a hand washing station. Some states require you to have a full-on sink, concession sink that you have to pay for. My county, thankfully, and my state only require to have these 3-compartment sink buckets. And of course, one of the things I also learned when I first started this business is that there's low, medium, and high risk. And there's just so many cool things that I learned since this video. For example, these food safe buckets that I bought, everything that I've used in this video are food safe. If you see there, the little metal scoops that they come with when you first order your equipment, I noticed that those scoops are way too small to bag, so I ended up buying some ice scoops from Restaurant Depot. And there's a lot of equipment that you can get there too. The paddles I got from Restaurant Depot. The cheese flavors I got either from online or Gold Medal. If you do not have a local Gold Medal dealer, you can order from katam.com. I also ordered some brown sugar, I think, at the time too, to try out the caramel corn. And here, all the supplies I got was from Sam's Club. And this is all the learning process of trying my machine for the first time and figuring out how it works. The one thing I liked about this machine is that it's small and light. The one thing that you notice right away is that versus a 160 quart bowl where you have to paddle the other way, here you get to kind of go like this, and so it's a much different kind of maneuver to pop. But the quality of the corn is the same for the 80 quart bowl versus the 160 quart bowl, and I decided to go with the 160 quart bowl after my first year because I started growing my business. And then the other thing that I decided to change was my sifting table. The food bin on the floor I didn't really care for. My stuff on the tables and away from the ground as much as possible. And that was one of the things that made this difficult, is having my stuff from the ground to the table, from the ground to the table. And so from a perspective of being as safe as you possibly can to serve to customers at a market is much different than when you cook in front of your house or for your own reasons. But when you cook to people in public, you want to try to keep yourself as food safe as possible, like wearing an apron, having a hat. Some people have to wear gloves. I did not have to wear gloves because you have scoops and you don't actually touch the popcorn. So these are all things that I learned by calling my local health department. And even the cereal keepers are food safe for sampling. Some places may not even let you sample. And so these are all things that I figured out as time went on. And I also designed my booth to where people would not have such an easier time to run up to my kettle to try to touch it. So that was one of the things that I might change this year, is I might get some screens. When I first started my business, I had one table, but with the sampling and everything, I like to have 2 tables out and have my bags out. When I made kettle corn in California, for example, I was able to keep all the kettle corn in the kettle. And then when I moved here to Maryland, the humidity is so bad that I had to pretty much bag it up right away. So these are all things that you're going to learn as you go along. I strongly suggest you do what I did when you first get your equipment, to test it out outside your house. And the great thing is, when I started making it, I had my neighbors upstairs and my neighbors across the street and some of my neighbors that I didn't even know buy from me. And so it got me to test out the software on my phone and it got me to learn how to bag and everything. And so going forward, I would definitely say having a sift. The last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was getting a good tent. This tent here is like a $50 tent I got probably from Walmart, and if I would have known now, I would have saved up the money to buy a better tent. Unfortunately, I had a budget of $5,000 when I first got started. A former boss of mine invested in me $5,000 to get started, and that's how I got started making Kettle Corn and being my own boss, from $5,000. And then the tent also, and the wind, you have to have weights. That was another thing I had to buy, is weights, and so that's also money. The dumbbells, I decided to buy these little dumbbells that you work out with, and zip ties. They've so far done a pretty good job. I've used one on each leg, 25 pounds, and that hasn't had a problem. I also buy extra and have bought extra zip ties for the wind, and I've even positioned my transit sometimes to the side on a really windy day. And then if it just gets too windy at the end, sometimes you just don't even have the tent up. Sometimes people will just serve without a tent. It's like, do it with everything within and that are practical. So these are some of the things I've learned as time goes on. You will also learn, and I really appreciate this video. This is an old video of mine that I had on my iPad, so I thought I'd share. And this is when I first got started. This is before I even did any markets. I believe I recorded this March of 2018, and I didn't start marketing until June, which was the Tacoma Park Farmers Market. Was my very first market, and I love doing farmers markets. In fact, I'm going to do a video here of the pros and cons of the farmers markets and I love doing farmers markets. In fact, I'm going to do a video here of the pros and cons of the farmers markets, and I love the farmers market business. This is what this is where my heart is and my mindset. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like and follow me on YouTube if you find all this information useful. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to say is, with your equipment, I ordered my equipment during the wintertime when my season was down. I knew this because of the Kettle Corn industry, and if you're gonna order equipment from anybody, like let's say kettlecornmachine.com, North Bend, or Greg Mann, my equipment took me about 3 months to come in from freight. And so I don't know how that is after COVID, but this is of course before COVID. So if you're gonna order a machine from somebody, don't expect to have your equipment come the first week. I'll probably, realistically, if anything, ask them, say, hey, when is my equipment gonna come? I see a lot of these people on Facebook complain about their equipment coming in, not in the right time, and I knew that freight was going to take a while. So just be patient, guys. If you're going to order your machine, order your equipment, order it during the wintertime, or if you want to start right away, you can try maybe looking up used. Facebook is another option to buy used equipment. I decided to buy new. So again, any further questions, guys, feel free to reach out. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for messaging me on Facebook. I try to do my best in answering all these questions in the order that they come. I am getting more popular now on YouTube, so again, if you want to support me, you can buy me a cup of coffee, or you can subscribe to my channel, and again, watching the full video always helps. Thanks, guys. Have a good year this year. This is going to be my 5th year in business, though I technically started in 2017, but I didn't start until 2018 officially. So I'm excited to have another year this year, and I just love being my own boss making Kettle Corn. Thanks, guys, for watching.